I wanted to watch the Diablo 4 stuff. I'm planning about playing it, but before I play it, okay, I'll watch the IGN review first. But before I play it, I want to watch some videos. So this is the IGN's Diablo 4 review. Let's have a look.
Like seeing your favorite band play their greatest hit live, Diablo 4 is completely awesome to behold, even when you know exactly how the song's going to go. It may not try to push the boundaries of ARPGs, but the tweaks, improvements, and borrowed ideas it does introduce have made this the best Diablo's ever been.
Damn, he thinks it's really good.
Combat, extensive build options, and stellar graphics are all among the most impressive in the genre, and its endgame activities are shockingly well thought out. A weak story and some irritating bugs do occasionally throw a wet blanket over the fires of hell, but the 80 hours I've spent in Sanctuary have still been overwhelmingly positive. And even after all that,
I'm gonna lower the volume,
I'm excited to play a whole lot more.
Break the chain.
I never played a Diablo game ever, and I want to start now since, you know, the hype is here, and also like just to see what kind of game Diablo is. I actually have like
Diablo 4 largely succeeds at modernizing the depths of hell enough to finally match its more recent ARPG peers, like Path of Exile or Lost Ark.
Okay. So I played Lost Ark, so I know the ARPG
once
aspect
again
of it.
Sent on an endless string of exciting dungeon crawls, where mastering your abilities and optimizing your DPS are generally more important than an engaging story or explaining the insane diarrhea of flickering lights that currently occupies the screen.
What is going on, bro?
Dungeons once again captures that enjoyable, compelling loop of killing hordes of enemies, completing objectives, and downing bosses. And doing side quests to learn more about the world's lore is usually a very good time too.
I hope you've lined
Nice.
your pockets with healing
It's voice acted. That's
If you were
important.
hoping Diablo 4 would shock the ARPG world with massive innovations to the genre, however, you're likely to be disappointed in that regard. Blizzard mostly seems content to play it safe by making smart but unsurprising changes to the ARPG formula, with things like more customizable skill trees and more diverse playstyles between classes.
Okay.
That might sound
That looks
overly
cool.
familiar, but this strategy has resulted in a game that's unbelievably well designed, succeeding at practically everything it tries. Diablo 4's story probably isn't going to win any awards, but it's still a massive step in the right direction compared to its predecessor.
I have no idea about anything Diablo related. I don't even know what the story is about.
Lilith, daughter of one of the primevals of hell, after she unleashes her fury upon Sanctuary, serves as a fantastic kicking off point.
Okay. So gotta kill this bitch.
Gone are the days of WWE-like voice performances and dreadfully cheesy dialogue.
Now, our true work begins.
Okay.
Queen of Succubi is one of the most complex villains the series has ever seen, with motivations that even made me question the justness of my own cause.
And now, all that you might have been has been stolen from.
So wait, we feel bad for
Before you
this.
get any
We feel
real
bad for this
payoff
bitch.
For what's expertly set up in the first act, you'll spend most of the next 4 going on tangentially related errands with more filler than a packing peanut factory.
We're not here to collect.
The result is an interesting but disjointed story, which is a real shame.
That doesn't really
because
sound
anytime Lilith is on
good.
screen, it's engrossing stuff, but she's largely hidden behind a curtain waiting for the final act of the campaign, with a payoff that then doesn't stick the landing.
This can't be.
Really?
The ending does at least nicely set up a whole host of possibilities for Diablo 4's inevitable updates and expansions, but it's hard not to feel let down by what this story could have been.
So he's saying the story is like, who demon? You demon? Okay, dude.
Thankfully, rolling credits in a Diablo game means you've only just finished the appetizer, not the main course. When it comes to the things that really matter, like combat,
so let me get this straight.
crafting, hunting for gear, and especially the end game.
So the main story, the MSQ in Diablo, is like the beginning of the game. And then after that, you just grind out, right? So it isn't like one of those things where you progress the main story and then you have to go out. And then you progress some of the main story and then you have to go out. It's like you do the main story quest and then like you just focus on the grind and upgrading your power and doing like more dungeons, right?
Diablo 4 absolutely knocks it out of the park.
Okay.
All 5 character classes are a ton of fun to play as. The rogue darts around to deal extreme damage in an
I'm gonna be playing the rogue. I like my ninja / assassin shit, so I'll probably be playing the rogue. I don't even know what the other classes are. Well, you got the barbarian. I remember that. Barbarian, what is it? Druid, sorceress, necromancer, and rogue? Damn, did I get them all right?
Exhilarating high-risk, high-reward trade-off. The sorcerer creates horrifying cocktails of destruction, like this disgusting lightning build I brewed up to stun everything around me constantly.
That's just
The
disgusting, man.
necromancer raises and manipulates the corpses of fallen enemies to carry out their foul desires.
Okay.
The barbarian is an expert in all forms of Hulk smashing, who can charge forward to destroy everything in their path. And the druid
cool.
uses their anamorph abilities to wail on demons,
Damn.
with probably the most build diversity of any class.
Damn.
Gear substantially affects the paths you might choose to take a character down. For example, you might get a magical pair of pants that heal you when standing close to enemies, warranting a shift in your build from slaying enemies from afar to something close quarters. Or maybe, like
Interesting.
me, you'll get devilishly lucky when you find a weapon that sometimes casts 2 lightning spells for the price of 1, leading
Holy
to some
crap.
absolute mayhem. Trying out new builds,
70% chance to double cast?
powerful equipment
That's
is one of the
disgusting.
best parts of Diablo 4. I spent most of my time on my sorcerer, where I continuously discovered new and extremely rude ways to be the best glass cannon I could be. Like,
Weren't people saying that like the sorcerer is like the most disgusting one out of them all? Or was it like the necromancer or something?
equipping an ice shield that froze enemies for the sin of attacking me to remove said shield. The variety of systems available to optimize your character are so numerous that it can be pretty dizzying at first, even for a Diablo veteran like me. But when properly
So the skill tree is
this
a bit,
easily
like,
one of the best build
a bit
crafting
overwhelming.
toolboxes of all time. Whether it's the dense skill trees, the endgame Paragon boards, and powerful glyphs
Holy
that can be
crap.
upgraded and socketed into them, the plethora of loot options across various world tiers and rarity levels.
But I'm gonna be like, my
the
brain's gonna
gems and
explode
render
playing this game.
upgrades you can use to make that equipment even better, or the fact that gear perks can be tweaked to optimize them for a certain
Can,
build.
thank you for the water.
Blizzard seems
Consumption.
to have thought of just about
I've got
everything.
cola. I hope that helps.
And all that control meant I never came close to feeling like my time wasn't being respected when a loot drop didn't happen to go my way. Diving into the bone-riddled halls of this ancient tomb or this demon body part exhibit is a consistent joy. No matter what class you've chosen, shredding your way through piles of wretched reprobates is usually effortless.
Sing! Way! Is that in the game? Sing!
No, not the shing shing, bro. Not the shing shing, man. Shing shing. That's what he's doing right now. Watch this. Shing shing shing. Shing shing. What's he playing as?
Though
The
some
druid.
of the more difficult activities, like nightmare dungeons, are bound to put those skills to the test. There's also
done
a
my
good
part.
chance you'll
Thank you
run
for the
into
redeems.
a random event that might have you rescuing some poor lost souls or getting attacked by the Butcher, a familiar demon who enjoys meat hooks more than I thought possible.
The Butcher.
Admittedly, regular minions have very few unique mechanics I could discern in the seconds it took to send most back to hell with my coldest regards.
Okay.
But
Damn,
you do get
bro.
the occasional breath of fresh air, like shamans that summon new enemies to the battlefield, making their executions a high priority, or skeletons that slowly shamble toward you with big beefy shields. Dungeon bosses have a bit of a similar inconsistency. I can only fight so many big floating demon wizards called the Curator or some such nonsense before it all just blends together into one big pile of satisfyingly defeated gore. But others are much more memorable, like one where a laughing cultist repeatedly summoned waves of freaks until he ran out of steam and was quickly turned into a bowl of mashed potatoes by me and my friends. Speaking of friends, Diablo 4 is great for making them, as an online connection is required to push back the forces of evil. While this comes with the expected
We get
rare
co-op,
glitches,
let's go.
like getting disconnected or having to wait in short queues to play during a particularly busy time, the benefits far exceed the drawbacks. There's a much greater sense of discovery now, as you encounter
So
other players
the
out in
servers
wild
can get
or
overwhelmed
rather
and you
than
can
full
get
blood in a PvP zone.
DC'd?
And those chance encounters when you're taking down a world boss, for example, can turn into new
Dude.
online friends. It's especially cool that trading and claims
Dude, that looks
seem to have
sick.
greatly increased in prominence compared to previous Diablo games.
He's got so much
There's a real
health.
sense of community around taking down endgame group activities together. That's the kind of magic
What
you
the
can
hell?
get in an online game, and I'm very excited to see what ridiculous shenanigans the community gets up to.
Yo, endgame for the end times.
Optimizing your build and coordinating with your squad means nothing if there aren't endgame activities waiting to be conquered.
Of
and
course.
Diablo 4 has
Genshin.
quite possibly the best
Take
day one
notes.
endgame experience I've seen. Once you've beaten the campaign, you'll be able to run bounties for the extremely creepy Tree of Whispers, which spawns new activities
Okay.
infinitely in exchange for high-level loot drops. Doing so
Infinitely?
at higher world tiers also gives you keys to nightmare dungeons, which are more challenging versions of existing levels that add crazy stuff, like an invincible
Okay.
crystal that magically chases you while you fight souped-up enemies. I was
That
around
just sounds
level 30
annoying,
when I
bro.
finished the
No cap.
campaign, but at level 50, you'll also be ready to
Having
tackle the first capstone dungeon. A
having
mostly
something
five-numbers dungeon
constantly
that
chase
serves
you?
as a power check to unlock the third world tier, and which grants access to a variety of new
Oh.
activities and loot drop ranks.
Wait, so you get different world tiers. So do you have to go through the first world tier in order to unlock the second one? To be honest, it does make sense to do so. But like, I'm just asking, you know?
Completely awesome addition are Helltide events, which cause blood to rain from the sky in certain zones and uber deadly enemies swarm everywhere. Killing them and collecting nonsensically named aberrant cinders without dying allows you to open special chests that are positively
Okay.
crammed with sacred loot. Like this.
Hey, yo,
But
he got so
PvP
many
is
yellows.
possibly the endgame activity with the longest tail. You'll find 2 PvP zones in Sanctuary.
PvP?
Where you compete to slay NPC enemies to collect materials while keeping your head on a swivel to defend against rival players who might decide to kill you and take your resources for themselves. Running around in
It's
these
like a battle
chaotic
royale.
zones is completely nerve-wracking and hilarious, especially since even your own party members can betray you by scooping up your valuable materials since they aren't shared. You might even be tempted to leave the
Wow.
party to rid yourself of that pesky friendly fire protection and lash out at a
Wow.
former ally.
That's disgusting, bro.
Then at level 70, you get another capstone dungeon to unlock the final world tier for even better loot, and there's yet
Okay.
another final endgame dungeon designed for level 100 characters after that. The treadmill of things to conquer.
Holy
is
crap, there's so
well
much to
designed,
do.
I didn't want to get off even when I felt like I had seen 95% of what was on offer. The whole time you
Dude, there
work
just
towards
feels like
the
there's so
max
much
level of
content.
100, you're earning Paragon points to make your character even more deadly against your increasingly formidable foes, which serve
Okay.
as a carrot to keep grinding your way through Tree of Whisper bounties, Helltide events, and PvP zones. The endgame grind to reach that max level is practically perfect in terms of variety, replayability, build crafting, and more. Even if you somehow run out of things
Holy.
to do in the endgame for one character, rolling a second or third instantly becomes a fresh experience, since the campaign
Yeah, because you could try a different character.
once, and certain account-wide bonuses instantly give your new character a boost. The most
Oh, so it's roster-wide. Okay, so it's not like separate, like it's not like a separate experience. It's roster-wide, and you could skip the MSQ, which is also very good, right? Damn. So you could just get straight into it and try a different character. That's a smart way to do it, man. That actually sounds, yeah, that sounds good.
most important of these unlocks is your mount, which allows your new characters to race off to faraway parts of the map so you can begin leveling with whichever activities you want. Tackling dungeons
Mounts?
or participating in PvP
Oh.
from the fresh perspective of a whole new class immediately shakes off any dust Diablo 4's lengthy grind might gather and extends the good times even further than I thought possible.
Okay.
The only things that can occasionally knock that train off the rails are a few nasty bugs. For example,
Bugs?
if you enjoy teleporting around as a sorcerer, be prepared to get stuck in the ground literally hundreds of times, like this.
Really?
Thankfully, that can
Oh.
be resolved by just teleporting back to town, but I wasted a lot of time retracing my steps.
Yeah, that's just not good, is it? That is just not good enough, is it? Firstly, why are you teleporting that side? Secondly, if you teleport that side, the wall should block you, and you should teleport. Like, you should teleport next to the wall, and Obviously, you could still be fucked over, right? Like, because you're then next to the wall and there's a lot of mobs on you. But that's your fault for teleporting that way. You should have teleported somewhere else.
only for it to happen again a few minutes later.
Oh my
There's also
god.
some weird rubber banding that sometimes goes on when you try to go from
Oh,
one region
Lord.
to another that prevents you from entering a zone. Most of Diablo 4's
Rubber
issues
banding?
are extremely specific
Why?
things like this that will probably get patched, but they were noticeable enough to tangibly impact my enjoyment a bit in the meantime.
Of course, because like, bro, you're out in the world, you're exploring, and then you teleport into the wall, and now you can't even do nothing. Like, you just have to TP out, and you have to retravel there. Obviously, that's annoying. It's not nothing too major if it doesn't happen often, but it's an annoyance that shouldn't be there. The verdict.
Diablo 4 is a stunning sequel with near-perfect endgame and progression design that makes it absolutely excruciating to put down. The story is
Sounds good enough.
disappointing, despite still being a noticeable improvement over Diablo 3, and there are some annoying bugs that need squashing, but the combat, the loot game, and both the sights and sounds of this world are impressive enough to smooth over those rough edges.
Okay.
Diablo 4 takes the strategy of refining things the series already did so well rather than giving it a massive overhaul. And that careful and reverent path has shaped this massive sequel into one of the most polished ARPGs ever created, which makes slicing
9
the
out of
damned
10.
a hell of a good time.
9 out of
For
10.
more, check out our reviews of Gollum and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. For
Holy
everything
crap.
else, stick with IGN.
This will be my first ever Diablo game that I play. I can't wait to see how it is, man. I missed out on so many different games and so many different experiences, right? Like, because I didn't have a PC back in the day. So I played a lot of like PlayStation exclusives, but I didn't get to play any, you know, anything that's like WoW related, anything that's Blizzard related. Like, I didn't really get to play a lot of video games, and I missed out on a lot of stuff, especially from Nintendo too, because I didn't own one as well. So I can't wait to just go back and like either explore these new genres or these new like titles, and go back and, you know, also play old games that I missed out on, man. This seems amazing.